Hey, listen, as we wrap up this episode, I want to give you one real practical piece of advice here. Hopefully, you've heard something really practical already, but in case you haven't, here's a super practical piece of advice. If you still don't know if you should get a college degree or which one, or if the one you have is going to be any good for what you want, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pull job descriptions. I want you to sit down and say to yourself, okay, I want this job, and I want you to be clear on what the job title is. And then I want you to get really clear on the industry that you want to work in and the size of company that you want to work for. Now, if you can get those three things figured out, then you can start pulling job descriptions and comparing them. And I think after you pull 6 job descriptions for the job you want in the industry you want, for the size of company you want, it'll become very obvious very quickly what it is you need to do. Right. So that's private sector. Jason's shaking his head. Jason, what if somebody wants to work in like DoD, whether it's like for a defense contractor or if they want to actually go on Uncle Sam's payroll? Is there some equivalent thing they should do?
Yeah, so when it comes to Uncle Sam's payroll, your best source for that is always going to be usajobs.com. So if you
Okay.
go to USA Jobs, it is the clearinghouse for all government jobs. And when I say being on Uncle Sam's payroll, I mean you are a W-2 employee working for the US government. You are a government civilian working either in
Paid by
Social
the US
Security.
Treasury.
Yes, you're getting paid and you're working for either like US Treasury, IRS, Social Security, FBI, CIA, NSA, the DoD, whatever. You're working for somebody in the greater government. And for them, all those jobs are put into USA Jobs. So if you're thinking, hey, I'd like to go work for Customs and Border Patrol because I live down in Texas and they've got a lot of drones flying overhead that need to communicate back, and maybe I could be that guy. You can find that at usajobs.com, usajobs.gov, excuse me, .gov, Gov. So yeah, definitely check that out. And just like Kip said, if you're looking at a position, for instance, an IT specialist is a 2210. So they call those, that's the 2210 series. It'll tell you like for this position, you must have 8 years of experience and a bachelor's degree. So what that means is you need 8 years of experience plus a bachelor's degree, or you need 12 years of experience and no bachelor's degree. They won't tell you that, but that is one of the things, right? And some hiring managers will only hire people who have a degree if they put that in the job description, but a lot of them will say, or equivalent experience. And so that's one of the things you can look at. The other thing is if you're looking for government contractors, if you look at any of the common government contractors, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, Harris, there's a million of them out there. But any of them, when you start looking at theirs, they're going to do very similar, where they're going to say, must have degree or X number of years of experience, because for the most part, they are very transferable. And what that allows them to do is find a wider pool of candidates to fill those positions, but also it helps them establish what your pay band is. And this is one of the things that we haven't really talked about in this episode yet, but a degree can change your pay band,
Mm.
especially in the DoD. DoD contractors are very big on that, where it's like, hey, I can pay you $80,000 a year, but if you have a bachelor's degree, I can pay you 100. If you have a master's, I can pay you 120. And the reason for that is their contract with Uncle Sam says, if I get somebody who's in a level 1, 2, or 3 based on their education, I can pay them level 1, 2, or 3 rates. And so that will count. I don't know if that holds as true in the private sector, Kit.
Not so much.
Okay.
Although it can happen. It can happen. I think it really just depends on where the organization is in industry wise, and then also who's setting the hiring policies. I have encountered it. It's just not very common.